Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are also recording this on Waycam, so good evening to folks who are watching later, actually, from the recording. You might be wondering about the slides that were playing as you were entering, and I wanted to let you know that those are pictures of our staff, high school pictures of our staff, and we showed that slideshow to our 9th graders during orientation. We asked our staff to offer some advice to our rising 9th graders and put that slideshow together, and so it's sort of a humbling and welcoming slideshow for all of our 9th graders. But good evening and welcome to our 9th grade Caregivers evening. We hope you enjoy this event and walk away feeling a little bit more comfortable and confident in the experience that your 9th graders are having. How many of you are first-time high school parents here in the audience? Okay, which explains why you're here, right? I'm really particularly overjoyed that you're here this evening. Our goal is to speak with you very honestly about the experience that we try to create for your children, and also answer your questions. And we're very fortunate to have a group of incredible students who will be using the second half of our evening to, we'll do some awesome introductions shortly, who will be also able to speak to their experiences, which I hope will give you some insight into the world of Wayland High School. We have a little bit of a tech delay tonight, so I'm going to be doing this awkward next slide thing with our incredible tech and design crew. I think we have about 8 to 10 students here tonight running this event. So quick plug for the tech and design crew. We have some apprentices who are learning the ropes, who are being mentored by upperclassmen who are doing the work. So here are the goals for this evening. Obviously, we want you to feel oriented to Wayland High School, what we're all about, what our daily kind of lives consist of, and importantly, what we want the experience to be of your students. We're going to introduce you to some key people in your students' lives. Not everybody obviously is here. This is not an evening for you to meet your students' teachers. Hopefully you were able to do that for those of you who came to back to school night. We want to obviously answer the questions on your mind and then give you some student perspective and wisdom. So I'm Allison Mizuguchi, the principal here. I'm joined by our 2 assistant principals, Laura Cole and Sean Gass, each of whom will also introduce themselves and speak to a few of the slides, as well as Amy Lima, who is our academic support coordinator. Unfortunately, Ben Buffa, our department head of counseling, was unable to join us this evening. He went home under the weather, so we wanted to make sure he got some rest, so he's comfortable for the rest of the week. Next slide, please. These are the people. I'm also going to be doing some introductions of some parent organizations. Next slide, please. So each of us has a little introductory slide. I actually asked my daughter Kira to put my slide together, and she put herself front and center on the slide. She just graduated actually from Wayland High School about 4 months ago. So I have been at this high school for a very long time. I began my career here as an English teacher in the late 90s. I was assistant principal for a bunch of years, and this is my 11th year as principal. So I feel very connected, obviously, to this community and to the work that we do together here. I have 2 kids, one of whom is a 9th grader, so I'm also sort of doing this interesting 9th grade parents thing right now. My husband is a teacher at Hudson High School, so we have a lot of sort of educational talk in our household. I'm from San Diego, go Padres, and love baseball, love all sorts of good Southern California cuisine and experiences. I'm going to turn it over to Laura Cole for a quick introduction.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming tonight. My name is Laura Cole. I'm a local girl. I grew up right down the road in Native, Massachusetts. I have a son who's 7 years old, a 2nd grader at Loger. I have 2 dogs, Rambo and Tucker. I also enjoy baseball. I'm a huge Red Sox fan, and I will own that I watched the 2004 series run this weekend just to mend my broken heart after the season. My career in education started a little differently. It started in 2009 at Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School when I was supporting a group of students who were in active recovery to re-enter a public high school. And from there, I became a counselor at LS, and then I eventually was the department head of counseling. And 5 years ago, I made the decision that, hey, I want to be an assistant principal, and I was lucky enough to find a home here in Wayland. I think I'm introducing Mr. Sean Gass, the other assistant principal here.
Hi everybody, I'm Sean Gass. I'm the other assistant principal here, as Laura mentioned. We break up our duties a little bit by class, so Laura works primarily with your grade level, but I also get to work with your kids, and I'm really excited about that. I've been here for 5 years like Laura. We both entered at the same time. It just dawned on me as I was looking at my slide today that this is going to be my 20th year in education, and I suddenly felt very old and very powerful. So I grew up around here, and then I moved to California, and I taught English and history for a long time. Well, what felt like a long time then, and now feels like a blink. I am currently winning because I am a big Celtics fan, and I'm not a huge baseball fan. So yeah, that's true. Padres are winning. So yeah, we go there. I spend a lot of time outside. I have two kids. I have a dog also that tears up my house, and that's a little bit about me. So thanks. It was great to meet all of you, and I'm going to have Amy Lima come on.
Hi, I'm Amy Lima. I'm the Academic Support Coordinator here at Wayland High School. I grew up in Canton, Massachusetts. This is my 7th year here at Wayland High School. I was an English teacher for a lot of years before that, and an assistant principal for just a minute. And my husband also works in education. He's a teacher at Marlborough High School, and we have 3 girls, Izzy, Lily, and Rosie. We have 2 cats, and for some reason made a choice to get a puppy last spring. So our house is very, very busy, but very full of joy and love and fun. And other than my time here at school, I love to be outside, love to spend time with my family. I studied theater in college in addition to English and education, so theater is another thing that I really enjoy.
So it's my pleasure to introduce our PTO President, Jen Perlman, for a quick introduction. We are so fortunate to have a really deep and close partnership with our Wayland High School PTO, spearheaded by Jen, so come on up.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen Perlman, and I'm so pleased to be serving as your PTO president this year. I have 2 sons here at the high school. One is in 10th grade and one is in 9th grade, so I am one of you, but I was also new to the high school last year as well. So in the lower grades, the PTO is much more visible at the school. We do things, we organize the parent room reps, we do the talent shows and the bingo nights. So at the high school we are not quite as visible, but we still are here. We're working a little more behind the scenes. So we have there are slides right there, okay, great. So each year we spend about $20,000 supporting the school in various ways while keeping focus on 3 objectives. The first is to enhance the academic and social emotional learning of our students, and that represents about 70% of our funding. So that includes the things that you see in the list under students. We provide the resources to enrich academics. A teacher might read about something during the summer that they think would benefit the students in their classroom, and we can provide a quick turnaround to provide funds for whatever fresh idea that they may have. The students can also come to us with requests for their clubs. The Connect program asked for some couches to provide a community sitting area in the library, and that's been really popular, so we provided those last year. So about 20% goes to showing appreciation to our staff by providing dinner, like before the back to school nights, and we provide a lunch at the end of the year. And again, fulfilling various grant requests, and organizing the Alumni Award, which is given to a staff member each spring after being voted upon by recent Wayland High School graduates. So our third goal is to foster a spirit of community, and we spend about 7% of our funding on that, and that includes things like the chat hour, which I will talk about in a second. And on the next slide, So we have this resource that's really been fantastic. I have a friend sitting over there who has a junior, and she saw it for the first time, and she's like, that was really helpful. So it's called the Insider's Guide, and it contains information about extracurriculars, social activities, and course selection. So we have that document, we're constantly updating it, so I'm going to, again, post that. If you're a member on our Facebook page, I will post the Insider's Guide again. I'll also include it in the school e-news in the next couple weeks again, so you can have a copy of that. So how can we stay connected, and how can we accomplish these goals together? So first, our only fundraiser is called Gift Your Child, and that's happening now. And we rely upon your donations for all of our activities. So please visit waylandpto.org to make your contribution. The money we earn this fall is spent this year. Second, come to learn about the high school experience and various parenting topics by attending the chat hour. You can attend in person or by Zoom. We advertise the chat hours in the weekly e-news. We send it on the Facebook post, and usually Dr. Mizuguchi's letter. She will also let you know when the chat hour is happening. We have one coming up on October 25th, so we hope to see you there. Third, you can read the PTO section of the e-news, which again is when you go through the e-news, we are usually at the bottom section of that, so just kind of keep scrolling, and you'll come to all the PTO news. And please also join our Facebook page. It's a closed Facebook page where I try to just keep you updated on things and give you reminders and different deadlines that may be coming up to just kind of help you stay on top of all that. So whether you donate your time, your talents, your money, or all three, we hope you reach out and find a way to get involved in a way that works for you. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a great year.
If you are a parent and new to the high school community, we have lots of ways for you to get involved. Another one is our Boosters organization. We're going to go back a slide or two. Perfect. That supports our Wayland High School Athletics program. And our next slide is our CAPA organization, which is the Creative Arts Parents Organization or Association. And in fact, members of CAPA were greeting you as you walked in, a parent support group really tightly connected to our students who are in the fine arts programs. So at this point, we're going to spend a few minutes kind of talking at you to present some big ideas about the kinds of support that are here at the high school and the difference really between sort of the middle school experience and the high school experience, beginning with Sean.
So one of the things that we do with ninth graders as the year goes on is we really ask them a lot about what their experience is like and what's different, and we try and get a lot of feedback, and these are the things that we hear from them. One of the biggest things that they all talk about is an increase in academic rigor. This is across the board. Academic rigor does take a significant jump in ninth grade. It's definitely not an insurmountable jump, and the supports are also taking that jump with them. But academic rigor is something that our ninth graders talk about experiencing in their first year. The other piece is freedom and independence. So a lot of our ninth graders are coming from the middle school, which has certain structures in place that we don't have in place at the high school. We do have more structures in ninth grade than we do in 12th grade. It's a graduated release and more increasing independence as the years go on. But there is a pretty significant jump between 8th grade and ninth grade. You don't have to sit at particular tables at lunch. You're actually, you're allowed to access your cell phone at different times, although this year that's changing a little bit. And you start to get some free time over the course of the year. So actually in second semester, you may have already heard about this from your kids, but in second semester, some of those study halls that are in their schedules can be replaced by free periods as long as they're doing okay academically, behaviorally, and with attendance. So they start to get more and more freedom and independence as the year goes on, and then as multiple years go on, they get the chance to go off campus or to take part in different activities. The other thing that comes with all that freedom and independence that our ninth graders talk about, and you'll probably hear some of our current students talk about this tonight, is the need for self-advocacy, excuse me, and increased responsibility. So this is where you guys can come in terms of your encouragement. As kids are getting to know their teachers, as they're experiencing the school year, the need for them to self-advocate when they're struggling becomes big. We want them to start speaking up and letting us know when something is going on. We definitely coach them in that way in 9th grade. They're going to meet with their counselors a lot. They have a 9th grade seminar. Many of them are in the academic support center or getting other supports, and so we help them get to that point. But we do want kids to start to feel more comfortable speaking up and saying what they need, because that's going to be the key for success over the next 4 years. All right, next slide. Okay, so one of the best parts of my job is I get to help with the clubs and activities here at Wayland High School. And right now, let me get my numbers straight. We have 58 active clubs at Wayland High School. And that's not just 58 clubs that exist on the books. It says 52 up there, but we've gone up since last year. These are clubs that are meeting weekly. Some of them are meeting more than weekly. Some of them are meeting during the school day, some of them are meeting before the school day. Most meet after the school day. Many of them will have outings and trips and do really amazing, cool things. So raise your hand if your kids talk to you about club fair. Oh, that's awesome. That's a high percentage, that's good. We had club fair, I guess that was 2 weeks ago now. All of our clubs were set up in the field house. We had crocheted animals next to a robot shooting I don't know, what were those things? Those round foam things out into the field house. Next to the fishing club showing off rod and reel combos. There was just something for everybody in that room. And so if your child did not talk to you about club fair, or they didn't feel excited about something there, please reach out to their counselor, or reach out to me and say, hey, my kid could use something to do, could use something to get involved with. Here's the kinds of things that they like, and we can get you connected with some of the student leaders and the faculty leaders. The other cool thing about clubs here is that students are starting clubs. Every year, students start new clubs. Sometimes clubs, if a student has shepherded something through a few years and then graduates and there's not another student that really wants to pick it up, sometimes they do die off, but students can start clubs here that they're excited about. We have a number of business clubs that have started recently, which means great things for your financial futures. We have a chess club that started meeting during the school day, and we're out, there are 2 full lunch tables set up with chess boards, and they were packed. They were meeting throughout all 3 lunches today. So it's really a vibrant extracurricular club scene, and there's something for everyone. So talk to your kids, see if they saw something great at club fair. If they didn't, there is an active list on our website that is updated regularly. And so it's pretty up to date now. I think I haven't looked at it in a few days, and there's a couple of clubs that might need to get added on there. But it is on our website, and you can find the contact information for the advisor and student leader on that part. And if you can't find any of that, please feel free to email me, and I will get you in touch with whoever we need to get you in touch with, okay? Thank you very much. I can't remember who I'm introducing next. I think it's Laura. All right.
So I'm just going to quickly go over some of the supports that all 9th graders get throughout this school year. So at Wayland High School, we really emphasize the student-teacher relationship. We hold it really special. So teachers are consistently with 9th graders putting interventions and really some strategies within classes to support students, whether that's teaching them how to take notes, study skills. So there's a huge emphasis just on that relationship. And as they continue through high school, they really build upon that. They learn that, if I need extra help, I'm gonna go during my teacher and I have the same free block, I'm gonna go meet with my teacher and attend, they call it an office hour and get some extra help. Counselors, your student will be assigned a counselor that will stay with them through their 4-year journey. And they'll help them through their process of what are you going to do after high school. They'll also help them kind of with their academic programming throughout the year too. Our Boston resident students too also have a MECO coordinator here at the high school who also supports in advising as well. Your students are a part of advisory. Advisory meets Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. It's a smaller group, 2 teachers there who are also overseeing your fall conferences. Advisory about 2 to 3 times a month is extended, so 25 minutes, where we do community things or we have class meetings. So their advisory teachers, they'll also stay consistent with through the 4 years that they're here at the high school. Study hall, as Mr. Gass said, starts in first semester for ninth graders. And ninth graders who achieve the academic and behavior and attendance components in second semester will have free blocks. I think study hall is a really great way to teach students what to do during their free time. It's a quiet space. It's teaching students like, okay, sit down. We're going to do some work. There's a teacher overseeing it. His name is Mr. Parsagian, and he's overseeing it. And there's also teachers that pop in there to support students. Bio teachers will go in, math teachers to provide extra help for students. Ninth grade seminars are programming that happens for students. The first half is with their guidance counselor, and then our librarian comes in and does some info technology with them. Then Ms. Lima comes in and really does strategies for student success. That's how to take a test, how to get ready for mid-years, how to access extra help. And then when the administration goes in at the end, and really what we're doing is running focus groups to figure out how was your transition, what was different from the middle school, what's working, what doesn't. One of our school goals this year is to really focus in on the ninth grade transition, how to support students better, what's the communication we can do better with families. So that too will be kind of the topic of discussion with the students when administration's there. I'm not going to go into the deep in the academic center because Ms. Lima's going to come up, but the academic center is an awesome place where students have access to teacher tutors, peer tutors, and also Ms. Lima, who oversees the interventions that students may need to be successful here. I also want to highlight our peer leaders and just some of our student leaders who you're going to hear from today. Peer leaders are also in the seminar, so these are upperclassmen who did tours with them, who did their orientation, who they might still have a connection with your student, and they really help to provide a different perspective in seminars and also support just some of the more focus group questions that we do with the students. You also will have ninth grade conferences that are starting this month, and then also again in March with your advisors. And that, though you should have received some emails and some schedules, and if you haven't, because I've heard from some parents, just reach out to me or Dr. Mizuguchi and we'll make sure that happens for you. Next slide. Thank you. So contacting counselors, this is usually Mr. Buffa's thing, so I'm going to try to highlight well. I'm going to emphasize guidance counselors are kind of like the compass. You're ever like, what do I do? What's next? Or I'm going through something, I need some support. Reaching out to your student's counselor, I would say, is the best place to start. They're going to help them too as we start to move, as I said, academic programming, so course selection. They're definitely very involved. They're looking at student recommendation. They're looking at courses. They're also doing any schedule changes that your student may need. So they're really intricate in the scheduling part. And as students head through seminar programming, they start to decide, what do I want to do after high school? The guidance counselor plays an intricate part in making that happen for them in their junior and senior year. They also provide a tremendous, high school gets stressful, and they provide a tremendous amount of social emotional support to students as well. We have traditional guidance counselors or school counselors, but we also have some school adjustment counselors and some social workers too. If a student is saying, I need a little bit more, right? Our guidance counselors or school counselors have about 200 kids, right? But our clinical staff has the ability to meet with students on a cycle basis as needed, especially too if they're going through any life transitions, because high school's like that. And you might think that they might need a little support. We can always make that happen and set up a time for them to meet with someone on the clinical staff. All right? I'm handing it over to Ms. Lima, who's going to talk a little bit more about the academic center and what happens in there. Thank you.
Before I talk about the Academic Support Center specifically, just a little bit more information on who to contact with what sorts of questions. So a teacher is always a great place to start if you or your child have questions about a specific class, an assignment, the student's experience in that class, or how they're doing in it. It's great for your child to learn to reach out to their teacher, but I know with ninth graders, sometimes that takes a bit of support at home. So I really would encourage you to sit down with your child and have the student send the email to the teacher to ask a question, but maybe with your help figuring out, how do I ask this question, what should I say? Get in touch with me, the Academic Support Center, if your child maybe could benefit from a little bit of extra academic support, some help with getting organized, studying for tests. It's great to contact me in coordination with the teacher, so we're sort of all on the same page and working together to support your child. The main office is a great place to contact if you have questions about attendance, administrative needs, or just when you're not sure who to ask this question to, they can help direct you to the right place. A department head, so the academic department heads, are great to contact if you have questions about like levels or the requirements of a course, or concerns about your child's experience in that department. And then you can always reach out to administrators with any major questions that you have, any concerns, anything that you're not really sure what to do with or where to go with it as well. Next slide, please. So the Academic Support Center. So my role here is I'm the Academic Support Coordinator, and I mean, I love my job here. I feel so lucky to have found this role and this amazing center. That my job is just to help students all day, every day, and they're helping students figure out what they need to do and what they need to learn to be successful in their classes. So I really couldn't ask for a better job. That I really can't picture a job I would enjoy more. This is a place that some students are scheduled, and they come in regularly a few times a cycle to get help in a specific area. But it's also a place any student can come by whenever they have a question or feel like they could just use a little help with studying or executive functioning skills or whatever it might be. So if your child's up in study hall and they get stuck on something, they can always come down, see if we have a peer tutor available. There might be someone right in that moment who can help. We can also schedule students with a peer tutor. Let's say a certain class seems to be a bit of a challenge for them, and hey, it might be great if once a week they met with a peer tutor for some help. So that sort of peer tutoring can happen during the school day, or sometimes even before or after school if that's what works better for everyone's schedules. Everything we do really is individualized, so it really fits each child's needs. There's not sort of one thing that we do to help students. I also just wanted to mention, right now I am the teacher who's in the 9th grade seminars. I started yesterday with them for this school year. So what I'm working with the 9th grade seminar is both some specific skills for studying for tests and quizzes, sort of research-based strategies to study for tests and quizzes, along with some more general, I guess I would call them student skills, things students need to be successful in high school. We'll be talking about time management, planning, how do you keep track of assignments, those sorts of skills as well. So I'll be seeing almost all of your children since yesterday for the next few weeks. There's one group I won't get to until a little bit later on because they're double booked. But for most of your children, I'll be seeing them very soon if I haven't already met them. So that's something you could ask them about at home as well. And I'll be sharing those slides with the students and probably posting them on the Academic Center page of the Wayland High School website. And I guess I'll also just mention this year, I'm very, very lucky to have a second teacher in the Academic Support Center with me. If you have an older child, they would have had Ms. Carmichael, Janet Carmichael, as their study hall teacher. But now she's the second teacher with me in the Academic Support Center. So it's just, if your child has any questions, one of us should be there to help. So I always tell students we're just another place that a student can go when they don't know who to ask for help or where to turn next. And I think, am I introducing Dr. Mizuguchi?
All right, just a couple of heads up on upcoming dates to just sort of take mental note, and we'll include all of this in communication to all of you. First of all, 9th grade conferences, as we mentioned, are underway. They're occurring 2 separate Wednesdays in general during this month. I know some advisory pairs are doing 2 other dates just based on their own schedules. If you have any questions or you are having difficulty scheduling a conference, I'm more than happy to put you in touch with your students' advisory teachers to make that happen. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and make a plug for, is we have an upcoming evening event on October 22nd. It is a community event, so K-12. It's really a discussion based evening around Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation. Specifically for middle school and high school parents, the focus will be on cell phones. And so Dr. Fleischman, our superintendent, will convene the meeting with some reflections on the book. We'll have a panel discussion, and then actually high school parents will have our own discussion based on the challenges, honestly, of managing sort of an engaged educational experience in an era of cell phones. So I do invite you to come. There's some messaging that's gone out about that, and we'll include it in our e-news as well. We have quite a few people who have signed up already, so it's clearly a topic of a lot of community interest. I also wanted to mention that what Jen Perlman mentioned, our next chat hour is actually hosted by Ben Buffa, our Department Head of Counseling, about the future roadmap For ninth grade caregivers, you're at this sort of interesting beginning stage of a future roadmap. If you think knowing what the next 4 years will bring in terms of helping your child determine what's next for them in their future, in terms of career and education, please come. If you think that discussion might be a little overwhelming at this point, please don't come, and we'll have plenty of other programming that's really tailored for our ninth grade students and their caregivers. Next slide, please. So this, while we bring our students up, this slide really focuses on some pointers from our current ninth graders who wish that their parents knew the following. And so these comments, go ahead and give those a glance while we assemble our student panel, please. And I'll turn it over to Ms. Cole for facilitating our student panel.
It's funny because Ruth said, "How many mics do you need, Ms. Cole?" I was like, "I think we just need one." Now I'm like, "I'm going to need two." So I wanted to thank, they're going to introduce themselves, but I wanted to thank these students for taking time to come out. And, you know, we used to stand up here and answer questions, and then we realized, it might be better if we had some student perspective. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, maybe something that you love to do at the high school, what grade you're in, activities you're involved in, that'd be great. Just bring it back.
Hey, so I'm Nathan. I'm a junior here at Wayne High School currently, and I've been involved a lot with the theater program as well as the technical theater program, which is people who are running with the mics, the lights, etc. So this is actually part of our gig, which is running this event.
Hi, my name is Ruth. I'm in a similar boat as Nathan. I'm a junior. I am the co-president of the Tech and Design Club here with Nathan. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to, we have 4 freshmen right now that are currently taking the reins on this event. So that's awesome. We're so proud of them. They literally have they've had like 20 minutes of training, so they're doing awesome. And just, that's a little encouragement. Your freshmen should dive in. Like, they will get opportunities to do things right away. And I think that's a good thing for them to do.
Hi, my name is Addison. I'm also a junior here at Wayland High School. I am on the girls varsity soccer team. I did just come back from a game, so sorry for my rugged look. I am also a swimmer for the Wayland High School Swim and Dive team, and I'm also a part of the Water Warriors Club.
Hi, my name is Leo. I'm also a junior here at the high school. Currently, I run cross country. It's the fall season, and I also play lacrosse during the spring.
Hey everyone, I'm Ben Hammond. I'm also a junior here. Some ways I involve myself in the community here is I'm involved with student government. I do a cappella. I'm also on the lacrosse team, and yeah.
So I probably don't need the mic because you know I'm loud. So the first question I have is, what advice would you give your ninth grade self? And you don't feel like you all have to answer if someone doesn't want to answer. It might be personal.
Some advice I give my ninth grade self. Definitely, like Mr. Gass was saying, advocate for yourself. Unlike middle school and elementary school, your teachers are a little bit less apt to come and say, hey, do you need help with this? You really need to advocate for yourself and say, I need this help, I need to go to my teacher and do that. So, this is kind of oversaid, but really enjoy your time here. I still think myself as a freshman sometimes. Like, I still see the seniors, and I just think of them as sophomores from when we were freshmen. And it's kind of just crazy how quickly it goes by. And also involve yourself in your community as much as you can. Like, it's important to me that I'm giving back to my community. I've lived in Wayland pretty much all my life, and student government is a great way to do that. We do fundraisers for our class. We've planned events like SEMI, which was last fall, and in the spring we have prom. And yeah.
So what I would say is, to reiterate on Ben's point, I think you should really enjoy your high school experience. It goes by incredibly quickly. Whenever I'm introducing myself to people, for extracurriculars and stuff like that, I always introduce myself as a freshman, and I have to rethink about it. and and tell people I'm a sophomore. I think, yeah, also try to make as many friends with upperclassmen as possible. Like I love when the freshmen and even any underclassmen are like recognize me, because I was terrified of all the upperclassmen when I was younger, but they're really accepting.
Advice I would give my freshman self is to really focus on myself. I think it was really hard for me because I had come from a Boston school. I am a Boston resident, but I had come from a Boston school, and so the workload coming from that school to this school was a big change, and so it really just kind of was so immediate that it really hurt me and my mental health a little bit. And so making sure that I focus on the fact that I need to recognize when I need help and recognize that like I need to take a break sometimes is really important. So that is what I would give my first advice I would give my freshman self.
Yeah, I think the 8th to 9th grade transition, everyone talks a lot about like the increased academic rigor, but I think also it's an important thing for freshmen to just dive into things and take the risk that maybe they're going to be a little bit more busy, because I think it's in general worth it to just join the club. I mean, everyone's different, but I think having something to do and having that community at the high school will just make it so much easier, and you kind of learn how to manage your time once you don't have as much time. So I think it's just a good idea to join clubs and get involved right away, even if it feels a little daunting.
So I would say it's not too late for anything. It does feel a bit like, oh, this is the end of my education here, but also 9th grade is really the best time to join and start new things. For example, I came in, we didn't have a dive on the swim and dive team, and I managed to be able to get a spot, and have been doing that for the last 3 years. So like, it's not too late, essentially, is what it boils down to. There's still plenty of opportunities. I think freshman year is probably the best time for that, since you still have a lot more free time compared to when you're sophomore, upperclassman, etc.
All right, so what are some of the best resources to know and use for students and for parents? Best resources.
I would say probably your teachers, your just as well as other students, just ask for help. This is particularly for students. Ask for help, teachers, students. No one's going to be upset at you for asking for help. If anything, it shows that you're putting effort in, which is something that everyone likes to see. For parents, I'd probably just say your student, talk to them, know what's happening.
Definitely the Academic Support Center. I've been in the Academic Support Center for 3 years now, and it's honestly really great for me, because honestly that place for me is also kind of like a study hall. Like I go there a lot to make sure that I focus on doing my work. And I did just email Ms. Lima this morning about getting a peer tutor in physics. So it's really, really helpful for getting help on your work and getting, and just making sure you're staying focused. And I think for students and parents, definitely your guidance counselor, or your student's guidance counselor. I work with her a lot. I worked with her a lot last year about my schedule for junior and senior year, and making sure that I take the classes that I'm most interested in, and yeah.
I think teachers are probably my favorite resource to go to, because they're there to help. They're not, my dad always says that teachers are not the enemy. I think that's a really good piece of advice. I meet with my math teacher all the time this year, because I'm not having the best time in pre-calc. But yeah, also other students, like Ben and I share a lot of our frees, and we have different skill sets, and we can help each other on any assignment.
I was going to say the same thing. Lou and I do have a lot of frees together, and we work on our homework together, especially pre-calc. It is tough. It's not fun. But yeah, use your friends, even upperclassmen friends who have taken the class, who have worked through the same struggles you're currently working through. That's really helpful. And also another piece of advice for when you're doing your homework, any of your work, I think it's important to work on your homework and other things to actually learn, not just to get a good grade. And I know it kind of seems like a no-brainer, but I find myself sometimes not kind of just completing my homework and being like, oh, I'm done. But I think it's really important to consciously do your homework and learn as you're working, as you're learning. Yeah.
All right, how do you find a balance for homework, sports, activities, and family? Give any advice on that?
I'm gonna pass that down.
I think I would say, especially me, I do a lot of sports, and I just say as soon as I get home, I try to get all my homework done because I'm not the best at not procrastinating. So I just try to get it done not as quickly as possible, but get it done as soon as possible so I don't procrastinate.
So I live in a 2-bedroom condo with my 5 members of my family. So I share a room with my 10-year-old brother and my 14-year-old sister. So I'm kind of around my family 24/7. I don't think I can find my own space at this point. But I think my family is also one of my biggest supporters right now. I've been really close with my parents basically all of my life. And my mom pretty much knows everything about my life. She's like my best friend. Even though she doesn't think I'm her best friend. I find it really helpful to go to my parents for everything that I need. And as far as getting homework done and getting your work done, especially as a sports player, making sure that I use my frees as best as I can. I have been procrastinating a little bit this past week, but I do try to make sure that I get my homework done, as much homework as I can during my freeze, and then when I get home, I don't have to do a lot of homework because I spend a lot of time on my 6 homework with my dad.
It's definitely hard. Yeah, you'll probably notice that we all kind of laughed and we're like, ah. But I think it's definitely possible. I agree with what Leo said about like when you get home from, like, I think we're all pretty busy people, but when you get home from sports or whatever, just going straight to your homework and like getting that done like when you can. So I think encouraging your kids to like, you know, get stuff done and to like create a space where they can go and work. You know, I go to one spot to do my homework every day so that it is like, you know, I don't let myself get distracted there. And also definitely using freeze, which I'm not, freshmen don't have yet, but eventually using freeze and study halls is like super important. So.
Yeah, so I would say learn to prioritize definitely. Learn what needs your most attention when you're bright and fresh at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and learn what else you can like get by with doing it at 10. Obviously, it's best to, in a perfect world, do everything when you're fresh, but that's just not how people work. So make sure that you learn when to, make sure that you know what needs to be paid the most attention to, and learn how to set boundaries. So it's something you have to do if an extracurricular is like taking up way too much of your time. It might be best to, as much as it hurts, put it a little bit on the back burner so you can get on your feet.
What's the best thing a parent can do to support their 9th grader?
For me, I'd say just be there. Make sure that if they have a hard day at school or need help with a math problem, you can either help them or just, yeah, be a crush for them, basically. But don't hold some of their weight, but not all of their weight, essentially.
I would say like trust the process, know that like this is a big adjustment, and make sure that they're reaching out to people, but also know that like they'll settle in. And don't talk about their future too much. Like, I don't know, maybe some kids like that, but I think in general they just want to like deal with freshman year and not be worried about like 4 years later. So I would just hold off on that.
I think making sure that your kid feels supported and loved. Maybe not too much like the Mean Girls mother, but making sure that making sure that they know that you are there to support them and make them feel comfortable telling you things that they might not feel comfortable telling you. Because, and honestly, being close to my mom has been a really big help in my mental health. So yeah.
At least for my 9th grade self, I think what was most helpful was my mom actually made sure I was doing my work, because I just was not very good about doing my work, but like, also not being too too involved, but making sure that things are working out.
Yeah, I agree with Nathan that it's nice to know your parents are there. Like, if you ever need help, I can help you, I'll be there for you. But it's also really important, I think, that as a parent, you give your kids space, a little bit of space to do their work if that's what they need, or, yeah, just give them space, and kind of just encourage them. Definitely what Ruth was saying, I would not appreciate me doing my history homework and my parents saying, oh, you're going to be president one day, right? You're going to major in history and you're going to become a politician. I would not appreciate that. I just want to be thinking about what's in the now, what am I doing right now, and yeah.
All right, this is the last question we have. If we have time, we'll maybe take some questions from the audience. But what's your favorite thing about high school?
That's a good question. My favorite thing that I've noticed so far is, I think between middle school and high school, my favorite things, between middle school and high school, I think your friendships strengthen a lot. Like you're kind of going through the grind of the tougher academics here together, and it kind of fosters a sense of belonging within your community and your close friends as well. And I also love how there's so many different student-run and non-student-run organizations here that you can be a part of. It seems like not an accident waiting to happen, that's not the right thing. Like a community waiting to be built is here, and I've really appreciated that I feel I belong here. Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about high school is probably the people. For lacrosse, my freshman year, I was on varsity, and that was like a very tight-knit community, and I'm still they've been on the team, but I'm like great friends with almost all the kids who were on that team from day one, and it's great to have a big group of people who I know all care about me and can advocate for me, stuff like that.
Just like what Leo said, the people, I think, I can be a very shy person at times, and I think I was definitely one of the most shy people freshman year. And a lot of the upperclassmen say to the underclassmen, like, don't be afraid to reach out to us and don't be afraid to ask us something, because we are here to be your friend and we are not here to hurt you. So I think having a lot of the upperclassmen support and just the love from everyone in the school has been really helpful and is honestly one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I'm basically saying the same thing. But I think having relationships with like people in different grades is really fun. Like having tight friendships with people that are like kind of at a different, like, I don't know, stage in high school, place in life, whatever, is like a nice part about high school that I think you don't get as much in like middle school. And also just the freedom, like being able to do more, like eventually your friends can drive you places and you can go do things, and that's like exciting.
I agree with what Ruth said. Definitely the independence is definitely a nice thing, especially with the freeze, and once you're in junior year, getting your off-campus privileges, assuming you qualify. Also, I'd like to say getting to know yourself more, getting to know what you prioritize, what you enjoy in life, what like keeps you ticking, essentially.
Does anyone have any questions for our students? We probably have time for one or two. No pressure if you don't. So I was a counselor, my wait time can be 25 to 30 minutes, so never a good gauge.
Aren't they awesome? You guys are so
And I will say that these are students that, if your student ever needed anything, like, remember their faces, they will help students. They're not, we went to them and said, would you be willing to come on a Thursday night and talk to a group of parents about advice that you could give yourself? And it was instantly like, of course I'll come. And just some of the things you said were so inspiring. So just thank you guys so much for coming tonight. All right.
Thank you all so much for joining us. I will be sending out these slides if they're helpful at all and reminding you of certain bits of information. Again, please reach out to any one of us if there are follow-up questions, concerns, thoughts you wanted to share. This is just sort of the first meeting of our ninth grade caregiver cohort. We'll have other programs throughout the year as well. So thank you so much for coming. Enjoy the night.